Okay, today, guys, we're covering the percent equation, which is also going to cover discount, markup, sales tax, and tip. So we're going to start with the basic first. So the percent equation is a quick way to find a part of a whole quantity by multiplying the whole by the percent written as a decimal. So we do the part equals the whole times the percent as a decimal. You have to change it to the decimal. Even if it's a decimal percent, you have to change it to just a decimal. Okay, so let's work a couple of examples. Number one, it says find 12% of 90. Remember, of means to multiply. Of means multiply. To convert, it just was the percent. It's a rounding. So 12% is going to become 0.12 times 90. And then when you multiply that, you end up with 10.8 as your final answer. Okay, jump down a little bit and we're going to go down to number 9. So we have a little bit more application scenario here. There were 12 golfers in the first round of a tournament. Of the 80, I'm sorry, where did 12 come from? There were 80 golfers. Of the 80, 62.5% were qualified for the next round. How many did not qualify? So we want the amount that did not qualify. Well, we have one of two options. We can either subtract the percent from 100, or we can find what 62.5% is and then subtract that from 80. I'm going to take the latter route. I'm going to figure out what 62.5% is of 80. So I'm going to do, because we're doing 62.5% of 80. So that's going to be 0.0625, because that was a decimal to begin with, but it's a decimal percent. I need to make it just a decimal. So I'm going to do 0.625 times 80. And when we multiply that in the calculator, we punch that in the calculator and we get 50. Then I'm going to have to do 80 minus 50 because it wants the ones that do not qualify. And that gives me 30 golfers do not qualify. And there's our answer. Okay, now we're going to shift gears a little bit. Turn my page. And we're now going to talk about discount and markup, and sales tax and tip. So on the back page, let's look at filling out the notes section first. So stores frequently discount and markup items. Discounts are subtracted from the original price. Okay, markups are added. So discounts are subtracted, markups are added to the original price. Think discounts, negative, subtract. Markups, positive, add. Okay. The selling price or sale price is the amount the customer ends up paying. So it's what you end up paying is the sale price or the selling price. All right, so for our directions, find the discount and markup for each problem, then find the final selling price. Round to the nearest cent. Nearest cent, that means it's the hundredths. Okay, here we go. So we've got to figure out, we've got jeans that cost $58 and we want 15% off of that. So since it's off, I'm going to be subtracting at some point, but I first have to figure out what is 15% of 58. Of means multiply, so I'm doing 0.15 times 58, which gives me, if I punch that in the calculator, so I'm going to actually punch in 58 times 0.15, we get $8.70. This is the discount amount. This right here was calculating the discount. How much am I going to get to save? That's the discount. So we write $8.70 here. Now, to find the selling price, that's where we are going to do 58 minus the discount, the $8.70. When I do that subtraction, we get 49.30. So my final selling price, what I have to pay, is 49.30, $49.30. All right, our next example. I'm going to jump down a little bit. We're going to talk about a wedding dress, okay? They mark those suckers up and make some money off of them. All right, so here we go. This is a markup. That means I'm going to be adding in this at some point, but I first have to figure out, well, what is the 3% of 625? So I'm going to be doing, so here's where I calculate the markup. So I have 0.03 because I've got to move 2 decimal places. So it's 0.03 times 625. So I'm doing 0.03 times 625, and that's going to give me $18.75. Now, since this is a markup, then I've got to add that to the original price. So I'm going to do 625 plus 18.75. So the markup amount was the $18.75. And now when I add this together, we get 643.75. So my final selling price, which you have to pay when you walk out, is $643.75. Well, you don't actually pay that. You'll pay taxes too, but that's not in this problem. And we haven't hit that part yet, which is what comes up now. So let's talk about sales tax and tip. When you're calculating sales tax, the sales tax is a percentage that is added to the selling price. So sales tax is added to the selling price. A tip is a percentage that is added to the total bill. So both of these you add. The only one that you subtract is when it's a discount. Okay, here we go. Let's work a couple of examples. Number 9, find the final price of an $849.99 laptop with a 6% sales tax. So I have to do 6% of the price of the laptop, the $849, oops, $849.99, which means I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to have 0.06 times 849.99. And we punch that into the calculator, and we're still rounding to the hundredths for the cent, and we end up with that equals $51. So therefore, this right here is the sales tax amount. This is the sales tax amount. So if it asks what's the tax amount, that's what you would write. Now, well, what's the total amount? I have to add, I have to do the 849.99 plus, oh, I want to do this in a different color. Show you the difference, but that's a different step. So we have 849.99 plus 51. And when we add this together, we get $900.99. This is the final price. or the total price? Final price. Yes, you do have to dollar the dollar sign because that's what I'm talking about here. Okay, let's go down and we're going to work one more, our last problem. Okay, Katie bought a $76 dress at 33% off, $52 pair of shoes at 15% off. So I'm subtracting for those. If the sales tax is 6.75%, tax means I'm going to be adding, but that's going to be after I do the off. I have to do the off first. We want to know how much did she pay in total. Okay, so you do off first, tax second. Okay, all right, so here we go. So I've got to figure out what is, I'm going to kind of split this up in two almost. So I'm going to figure out the dress information. So I'm going to do 76, not 77, 76 times 0.33. And when I do that, I get 25.08. So that's how much I save. But then I've got to do 76 minus 25.08 so I can figure out, well, what's the actual cost of the dress? And the actual cost of the dress is $50.92. All right, so now separate this into different sections. Now I'm going to talk about the shoes. So we got to talk about the shoes. So we have $52 and it's 15% off. So that's 0.15. So when I multiply that, we end up with $7.80. So I have to do 52 minus 7.8, which is going to give me $44.20. So that's the cost of my shoes. So we have, this is the dress, this is the shoes. Now we've got to figure out the tax. So over here, we're going to calculate the tax. But the tax is on both the shoes and the dress. So we have to do the dress plus the shoes first. So I'm going to have 50.92 plus 44.20. And that's going to give me 95.12. So that's my total bill before tax. This is the amount, this is the, total before tax. Now we got to work it out with the tax. So I'm going to have, and my tax is $6.75%. So I'm going to be doing 0.0675 times 95.12. And when I do this multiplication, it ends up being $6.42. This is the amount of the tax. So that's my exact tax. And now I have to do 95.12. I have to add my tax to that. So I have to add the 6.42. When I do that, I get $100.54. This is what you pay in total. $100.54. See how many multiple steps? There's a lot of work that you have to show here. Okay, but you get to use a calculator. Like this, you punch it in the calculator and you get your answer, but you have to write it before you type it. Okay, you're going to go through and do the odds on this entire packet. So remember, if you have questions, pause it and rewind or come and ask me. Have a great day.